Yafa back at the Cove School for the second half of the Cove School Challenge as part of our School Spotlight series. 30 days ago, if you will remember, I was here and talked to these 3 students, and they told us a little bit about what they were planning to do for their challenge. So now we're going to come back and get a report as to just what happened. So once again, I'm going to be talking to Ava.
Hello.
Hello. And now, Ava, can you tell us what were the 2 goals that you put on your contract?
Well, my first one was to walk 6 miles a week or run or just get in 6 miles a week. And my second was to only eat a sweet dessert 4 to 5 nights a week.
Oh, so you skip dessert 2 to 3 nights a week. Okay. All right, so let's find out what happened.
So it was definitely hard because as we got really far into it, you started really forgetting what the challenges meant and what you had to do for them. So it was definitely really hard, and I have to say most times I did not achieve the goals, but some of the time I did. So it was definitely a big challenge, but it's good to have those sometimes.
Well, which was the harder one?
I think the sweet dessert one, because I'm used to having it like a small one every night, so it was hard to change, and because my family, they buy them, so
it's there.
It's there,
yeah.
And so it's tempting. So that was hard.
Well, was your family cooperative in trying to help you, or did they say you have to do it on your own?
We discussed, but as we got further in, we kind of went more independent with it. So I think I was kind of responsible for it, and that's a good thing, because I think that we all need to learn to be independent with it, with our goals. So it was good to have that independence, but it was definitely harder.
Yeah.
But it was good.
Well, what grade would you give yourself on each of them? The first one was the movement.
Yeah, the walk 6 miles.
The steps.
And I would give myself for the first one, I did, because of the Step It Up, you had your pedometer, and on one of the settings it had the miles. And so I think the first one I was pretty good about trying to get in my steps. I would usually look every 1 or 2 hours on my pedometer, and if there were only a little bit, I'd say, okay, I need to exercise more. So I think that the Step It Up program helped that goal.
And what grade would you give you? Now, you get 1, 2, 3, 4 grades, right? In school?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were doing a report card, what number would you give yourself?
I would probably give myself a 3. Standard, where you need to be. So because I think I achieved that goal.
Okay, but you weren't outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And what about the second one, the sweets? That one was harder.
Yes, that one was very hard. But there were some nights when I realized, okay, I don't really want to have a sweet dessert tonight, so I'm not gonna have one because that's one of my goals. There were some nights where I realized that, so I would probably give myself a 2 on that one, because that one was really hard, and I didn't really achieve that very well, but I still did.
Oh, you did it some.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on now to Dylan. And what were your 2 goals?
My first goal was to get up and do basically anything outside, just not stay inside.
And how were your steps? How many steps did you end up doing? Do you remember?
I think I remember at the end, each one, probably about maybe 50,000 each.
Wow. Each week?
Yeah.
50,000 steps each week? I'm impressed. That sounds like a lot of steps. What was the other goal?
My other goal was to try new veggies.
Try new veggies. And what new veggies did you try?
Well, I wasn't able to get to all this stuff because, like I said before, I wasn't able because I thought I wasn't able to eat veggies because I was always up and running.
You were always out running, so you didn't get to do that much. But you must have done some, because your mom was supposed to be involved in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and did she do her part? Did she get veggies and do something?
I don't.
You don't know, huh? Well, we'll have to find out from her, because maybe she's slipping on the job then. What kind of grade would you give yourself on the first part, the active running around? Sounds like you did pretty good.
Yeah, I would give myself a 4 in the first one.
Okay, very good. And what about the second one?
Probably give myself a 2 because I was really good at
Didn't
it.
quite, yeah. Oh, okay. Well, better luck next time.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to move over to the other side and talk over here. Go. To Hunter. Now, what were your 2 goals?
My 2 goals were to get outside for at least 5 hours a week,
Oh,
an
that's
hour every day, and to ride my bike out every day to school.
good. Okay, so those were your 2 goals. Okay, so how did you do on the first one to get outside 5 hours a week? How did that work out?
That worked out good because my homework wasn't that long. I could get outside a lot.
And what'd you do outside?
I played with my neighbor.
Okay, so that wasn't too hard to do.
No.
Yeah. And what about the riding the bike to school every day?
Well, that was kind of hard because sometimes it was rainy and cold, so I couldn't do it that much, but I did it a lot during the first couple weeks.
When the weather was good.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's,
and then I rode it this morning, so
well, the weather has improved, hasn't it?
A lot.
Yeah, it's summer all of a sudden, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so what grade would you give yourself?
on the getting outside part, I'd give myself a 3 because I did it a lot.
A lot, but it wasn't perfect. Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay. And what about the bike to school?
I'd give myself a 2 because it wasn't perfect. I wasn't able to do it that much, but I did it somewhat during the first 3 weeks.
And how do you guys like the pedometers?
I liked them, but the batteries kept falling out. They kept resetting, and sometimes they would just every 5 steps they would count it as 1.
So maybe you did even more steps
Mhm.
than you actually counted on. Do you remember what your final numbers were?
One last time before I got it was 49,000.
Wow. So you guys did really well on those steps. How about you with your pedometer? Did it work out okay?
Yeah.
No
my-
problems?
A little bit, but because my pedometer fell off my fell out of my pocket 5 times.
Oh, it fell out of your pocket 5 times.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I found it.
Good. It didn't break.
Well, it reset once
It
when I
reset.
actually found it, but yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Ava?
Because I first got it, we were all really excited, and we got to go out to recess and use them for the first time. So we were all really excited, and we all had them, and they were easily fall off, and everyone's ticking, tick, 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 and it gets not annoying, but because you know that they're counting your steps. So, and after a week or 2, I lost mine, and I didn't have one for a while, but then I got a new one, and I still have that one, and I actually found my old one, so now I have 2.
I have 2.
But I really loved it was really cool just watching how many steps you actually take. I would never guess I would never done that. I would never have thought I'd take so much steps.
So would you give the program, the 30-day challenge, a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Thumbs up, everybody. Okay, great. All right, now let's hear from your parents and teacher and see what they have to say about it. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Now I am here with some of the adults who participated in the program. We have the 2 moms. We have Dylan's mother.
Hi, Lauren Irwin.
And we have Hunter's mother.
Chris Boudreau.
And we have one of the 5th grade teachers.
Leah Brooks.
Okay. Now, they are going to tell us the adult perspective. We've already gotten the grades from your children. Okay, so Lauren, what were your 2 goals?
Our two goals were to be active and to try some new fruits and vegetables.
Okay. I didn't hear too many fruits and vegetables from these children, so maybe you must have snuck them into their diet in a way that they didn't recognize them.
I had thought of that, but we kind of tweaked it a little bit because we had a lot of resistance and tried to change the challenge to include more of the fruits and vegetables that he likes.
Oh.
So instead it would, strawberries in the lunchbox, apples. We're still, I hold out hope that we can still try some new vegetables, but we're just going to at least increase the ones that we like right now.
Ah, okay. Well, that's something.
Yeah, exactly. That worked. But the activity, he definitely blew it away. It was a perfect timing for the challenge because spring sports started, the weather got better, and the kids are outside all day long with their pedometers. So it was good to see.
And what grade would you give to the?
I'd say we did a strong 3.
Okay.
Yeah, on being active, maybe a 2 on the fruits and veggies, but I'll get back to you if we do more.
Well, then summer's coming, there'll be a
Right.
lot more fruits and veggies available.
Exactly, yeah.
From the garden.
Maybe we're going
whatever.
to try to grow some, so maybe that will encourage him to eat
Okay.
them. We'll see.
And Chris, how about you? What were your 2 goals? Just to remind us.
Mine was to be more active in the evening and to try more fruit, more vegetables that we had not yet tried. And it not necessarily, again, with Lauren, we tweaked it a little bit and we did more of what we did like already, and then I tried cooking things in different ways than the kids were used to.
Okay, so you tried some new recipes. So they
Yeah.
were getting vegetables even though
And they were just
they
cooked
were
differently.
aware of it, I guess.
No, they knew it. They absolutely knew it. I didn't hide it. But we just made them differently. Like I would roast them instead of cooking them into a sauce.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they tried, yeah.
And what grade would you give yourselves?
So for activity, I would say a high 3, and for the food, probably a 2.
Okay. All right, now, 5th grade teacher. You're talking about your whole class now.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you the.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. So you tell us, what were your 2 goals?
My 2 goals were to swim 3 days a week and to walk 4 days a week. So I only made half my goal. I've been walking 4 days a week. The swimming has since stopped.
Okay. And what about your class?
So my class, I feel like, was probably similar to me. We went over everything this morning when we had our closing meeting, and most of them could say, I made half my goal, and then they'd kind of made one loftier goal, like the vegetable challenge, or more of like a daily goal of riding their bike to school, which, like in hindsight, we probably should have thought through that maybe they should have given themselves a little more leeway so they couldn't say they fully made the goal when it was a daily goal they hadn't quite met. But most of them were either at 50% or above, which was good.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So in other words, if they had been a little more realistic on the goal,
Yes.
they probably would have been able to say, I achieved it.
Exactly, because
But
they all
were
increased their
over-
exercise, like as you were saying with the spring sports and the nicer weather, they were all able to get outside more and play more. They just set their goal higher than they actually were able to attain.
And how many kids lost their pedometers?
It depended on the week, because we usually found them again, we found batteries, we found replacements, yes.
And now, in your classroom, did you have discussions of, overall healthy activities, healthy lifestyle kind of things?
Well, we had an assembly with Mrs. Benedict that started a good conversation about healthier food choices and then about healthier activities outside. And so, especially at the beginning, that caused some good conversation. And I know they talked about it at lunch because it partnered really well with the program we have, Change is Simple. So they've been talking more about local fruits and vegetables. So it definitely got the conversation going again, which is always good for them.
And that's important.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how would you grade the overall experience?
If we're going by making goals, I'd have to give it a 3. But as far as just awareness and excitement, I would give it a 4. I mean, they were really excited to get the pedometers. There's competition involved. They learned more about healthy choices that I don't think they always think about. So I would give it a 4 as far as raising awareness among them.
That's good. Yeah. So in other words, the overall goal was to raise awareness.
Right. And that was definitely achieved.
And that was achieved.
Yeah, how they treat their bodies, what they put into it, what they do with it.
That's good. Well, thank you for
Thank you.
participating.
Oh, it's
Thank
fun.
you for your contributions here. Okay, now we'll move on to Andrew. All right, now I'm here with Andrew Walker from the Y, who is the overall supervisor of the Step It Up program, and he's going to tell us a little bit about how that went this year.
Well, yeah, as we've seen in the past, we saw a tremendous amount of participation from both teachers and students and school nurses and phys ed instructors, and that was great to see, just because the involvement was huge, but more appropriately, they had fun. And I think I still kept getting personal calls saying, hey, either my pedometer broke. I assume it's because they wore it out. But my pedometer broke. Can you give me a new one? And people taking the initiative, students taking the initiative to track steps on their own, sheets of paper. If for some reason they didn't have our actual tracker. So I think the participation was great this year. That was evidenced in even as of the week 3 data. We saw a 10 million step increase over the same time the last year.
Wow.
So a lot of good results there. People moving more, kids moving more, teachers moving more. So that's great to see.
Well, the whole idea of counting your steps, that's motivating, I think, for the kids.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives them some way of measuring what they do. Even though it's simple, it's something that they can look to say, hey, this was my accomplishment, and this is my accomplishment today versus yesterday and the week before. So I think that was important to them. Yeah.
Now, what about system-wide? We were just here at the Cove School, but I know that the Step It Up was going on throughout the city of Beverly.
Yeah.
How did that work out with the other schools as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw, again, based on the week 3 data that's come out, we've got about 255 actual, active participants, and that's huge. And without getting into the percentages, that's a very large percentage of the 5th graders in the Beverly Public School system. So the other schools are doing great. It's interesting from year to year. You see different battles going on. Like right now, Ayers and Centerville are neck and neck. But in years past, it's been North Beverly that's kind of been Cove's rival. So it's interesting to see from year to year. And now that we have that perspective, of course, the teachers have the same perspective in it, and it gets competitive in a friendly fashion.
Well, that's good. And what other programs go on in this whole healthy mode genre through the Y? Yeah,
so one thing that we've always tried to accentuate toward the end of these Step It Up programs is our running programs in particular. So when we used to do it in the fall, we sent out the reindeer run, which is our 5K application, and said, hey, if you got a group of students that want to do this, go ahead and that would be a great choice. We also have, through our after-school program, we do have a running club that's been well organized throughout the last several years, and so that's pretty good popularity with that. This year, because we're doing it in the spring, we'll send out our homecoming road race application. And the nice thing about the homecoming road race is, 5th graders, some of them will do the 5K, and some of them will choose to do our kids fun run, which we have for the homecoming race, but don't necessarily have for the reindeer run. So that's another great opportunity for them to continue what they've learned.
Now, the running club, is that at each school?
So it coincides with our after-school program. Mary Ellen, who's our after-school director, sort of oversees that program. But we are in every school with our after-school program.
Oh, okay. So there's a follow-up or follow-through on this Step It Up program.
Yep, there is, and just giving other opportunities to continue the momentum. We talk about momentum with healthy living, and I know that the school nurses have been, fundamentally instructive with that, and just trying to build simple steps toward a lifestyle of healthy living.
And you keep track of everything, and you are going to analyze all the stats regarding this program.
Yes.
And I know you don't have them all ready for us today, but you are going to provide them to us when they're all calculated.
What we're looking at is, traditionally we've looked at the top performing classroom. Okay, so top performing classroom. In that classroom, we'll get a pool party at the Sterling Y. So there's some sort of evidence of their success, so they get to look forward to that. And then, of course, the Step It Up Cup, which now sits in Cove, may or may not be wrested from its current place that it lay. But the Step It Up Cup will, for the winning school, will go into their school and be be there for all to see.
Okay, and when you have all that information gathered, you will provide it to us,
Yep.
and we will let everybody out there know.
Yeah, so we've had weekly updates across the span of the 4-week program, and we'll have another sort of closing week 4 update by this coming Friday.
Okay, sounds good. I look forward to that.
But I think the other thing that I just want to say in closing is that's hugely important is the teamwork that's gone on with the program. This year was no exception. The support from everybody from the school nurses to the classroom instructors and teachers has been crucial in what we're trying to get after with our community involvement.
Okay, and I know that here at the Cove, Chris Boudreau, Hunter's mom, has a running club. Oh, here she is. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the running club that you oversee here at the Cove.
So I took it over from a woman who had been doing it for years here. She did it during recess and after school. Her name was Kelly Anderson. And it's just a recess running program. We buy little toe tokens, and 8 times around the schoolyard is a mile. And so they get a toe token. They get to come up and pick one up for every 8 laps that they do. And we just give them check marks. So there's probably 6 or 7 parent volunteers, all moms right now. We had a couple of fathers last year. And so we just give them check marks every time that they come around on a little index card. And when they hit a mile, we give them a toe token. And then when they hit 5 miles, they get a special 5-mile token.
And this is at recess and after school?
We just do the recess.
Okay.
The Y provides
the
the
Y
one
is
after school now.
Okay.
Yep.
So it gives the kids a chance to follow up on all of this activity.
Yes.
Now, is this for all grades?
All grades. We're there 1 day a week for all of them. So we're there from 10:30 to 12:30.
Okay. And how many kids do you have participating? Is it a voluntary thing, or do they all?
No, it's a voluntary thing. So on any given day, I mean, most of the kindergartners and first graders do it. So it's a lot.
That should be fun to watch.
It is. It's very cute. And then they start diminishing towards the older, the 4th and 5th graders. They like to play football and soccer and stuff instead. But they'll come over and they'll do a couple of laps and then they'll move on. So sometimes I'd say we have anywhere between 10 and probably 100 running at a time,
Wow.
depending on
That's
the
good.
grades that are out there. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. So we have a lot of physical activity and healthy activities going on here at the Cove and throughout the city. Thank you both for sharing that information with us, and we'll be back with some of the statistics when they're all lined up. I can hardly wait to see them. So now I am here with June Cases, who is the nurse leader for the city of Beverly, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does and what health initiatives are going on.
Thank you. Well, I am as Kathy mentioned, the nurse leader. I oversee all of our school nurses and don't actually have a school assignment of my own, so it affords me the opportunity to kind of go around and talk to my nurses and really see what they feel the needs are in their schools with regard to teaching health and wellness, and just pursuing that initiative for the schools.
And what are some of the things that are going on in the various schools regarding health and wellness? Now, I assume that not every school has the same program, that they're trying to meet the needs of whatever the school population is. What are some of the programs?
Well, I can give you an example. The Air School in particular has been, Nurse Ann Paskey there, has been going out into classrooms for a number of years now, teaching the My Plate protocol, which is teaching kids the proper amount of servings of fruits, vegetables, meats that they should be having. This is a program that is put out by the American Dairy Association, and so she has been promoting that for a number of years, and for all grade levels. She's got a skit that she does with her teachers that they put on usually once a year during morning meeting that is very well received and just really gives the kids a great idea in a very fun way, and teaches them about nutrition and introduces them to fruits and vegetables and all kinds of things that they wouldn't normally be exposed to.
Okay. And what are some of the other, in some of the other schools?
Well, Centerville School has also been doing quite a bit with nutrition. Joyce Pryor has been running her Taste Test Tuesday, which I believe you're very familiar with. So what she'll do is select on Tuesdays, she'll spend a good part of her day selecting sort of an exotic fruit or vegetable that many people really hadn't seen, including many of the staff as well, and bring it into the classroom and allow the children to taste it, to touch it, whatever they feel comfortable about doing. To support that, she has information on her bulletin board, and they also have a school website where whatever food that they happen to be featuring of that day will also be featured on the website, so parents can also be familiar with their children had been doing at school that day. So we're always on the lookout for new and just more innovative ways to continue the programs and certainly expand them in any way that we can.
Well, that sounds great, because we seem to know, we've been learning in recent times that nutrition is a very vital part of education.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there have been so many studies that have looked at this issue, and there is no question about a child who is well nourished and participates in physical activity stays healthier, and certainly that increases their attendance and their overall educational success. And I would like to say also at this time, our district is, I really feel fortunate to be working in a district like Beverly, because they really do demonstrate their commitment to fostering an environment where students and staff can make some really healthy choices of food and what physical activity that they would like to perform.
This whole idea of the 30-day challenge puts healthy habits out front, and the kids seem to have fun, and it seems to have worked out very well. So I thank you very much for sharing with us. Well, thank you very much for viewing. And this is Kathy Yaffa again for School Spotlight. And thank you for participating, June.
It's my pleasure.
Okay.